Let's talk about the media. You talk in your book, and you are a former war correspondent. You reported in Afghanistan and elsewhere, I know. You talk in your book about the media's role in Gaza's genocide, writing, quote, "The entire notion of reporter as referee, announcer, scorekeeper, even if it has any merit, requires the game on the field to be played in accordance with some set of rules. It has no capacity to deal with players who kneecap." Now, when I read that quote, I also think of Trump and his relationship with the media. But just on Gaza and Netanyahu, how much did the media fail us? I think about the Iraq War and the WMD lies and the way the New York Times and others, BBC and British and American press went along with Bush and Blair. Compared to that, I mean, the US media has gone even above and beyond that in terms of its failures, its complicity, its mainstreaming of lies and violence. How bad do you think this media failure has been if you think about our lives on this planet?
I think it's been instructively bad. And what I mean by that is that it's not only allowed for a normalizing of carnage that I think otherwise would have been much more difficult to achieve, but it has also sort of expressed something that to me I was having trouble wrapping my head around until very recently, which is that when these stories come out, either very sensationalistic stories about very grotesque acts that later on turn out to be completely untrue or torqued in some way, or in the other direction, a truly grotesque act that is minimized by using passive language. The bullet found its way into the car and collided with a 4-year-old young lady, right? In both those cases, the thing that is central for any of this to happen is not so much what any one person or group of people or population actually do, but what they are believed capable of doing. And I think this was the case with a lot of the really sensational and really ruinous kind of reporting early on that I think normalized and created a kind of consent for a lot of the carnage that came after, is there was a far less dependent on what had actually happened than what those people over there are believed to be capable of doing. Once you've established that, then permissibility kind of goes through the roof. And that, I think, was the most instructive form of failure in terms of what it told me about a lot of the major media organizations in this part of the world.
This is your first nonfiction book. How hard is it to write a nonfiction book versus fiction, but also about a topic like this one?